So you're a little more active on Instagram. So do you have any particular strategy there, or is it just kind of a...
Well, usually the strategy is to communicate honestly. At least once or twice a week, I'm on camera just talking about what I'm doing, where I'm at, what I'm seeing, what might be coming up. And then when my listings come up, those are getting coverage 2 or 3 times that week, if not the next week. But I don't do a ton of promotions yet. I haven't gotten into that sort of next level Instagram world, which I know is coming. And I think this is the year that at 2023, I have to dig in a little bit deeper into that side of things, because there's untapped potential both on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Facebook. I know
TikTok.
I haven't even started
do you
yet.
watch TikTok? No, you don't watch TikTok.
I don't yet. Well, my daughter does.
But there are realtors, investment people, self-styled financial gurus,
Right.
and they're spitting out opinions. They're talking about, renting versus owning, or owning stocks versus owning a house.
Yeah.
And there's very compelling arguments for all of these things, or the impact of high interest rates or rising interest rates, right? All of these things are big topics these days, but you have to talk about all of these issues every day. You almost have to be an economist yourself, right?
Yes.
Or you have to keep up with this stuff. So how do you do that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm really active on my research. I am constantly researching data through some of the typical sources, which are the TREB, which is the Toronto Real Estate Board, and sort of other boards that are tracking sales data. I have a few charts that I track over time, over the last 10 years, what the sales are doing in terms of price of homes. Where have we seen busts and booms? So we can sort of see some patterns. So I'm constantly watching and reading economists' predictions, which again, always with a grain of salt, but it helps that if you actually look at more than one. To your point, there's a lot of people who will say one thing and then they might recant it tomorrow. So you really have to have a breadth of knowledge across the board, from bankers, from world economists, from insurance companies, from the institutes that follow data for real estate, and try to constantly bring that into some sort of focus and vision for people. And you really need context. And so context is all I ever do.
Right.
I'm always sharing, how can we look at this information 5 years from now, 5 years from prior to now, and then what does that mean to you?
But you don't have, we talked about this a little bit last time, you don't seem to have a problem being on camera, right? Putting yourself on camera.
Yeah.
I find women in particular are a little bit camera shy, and you are not.
I'm not.
That's what you admitted to me last time.
I am not shy.
So any words of encouragement or advice for women out there who are watching and are reticent about being in front of the camera? How can you get over this?
Yeah. So when I talk to other women who are sort of in my age range, or have, been working for 20, 30 years, and maybe they've achieved something and they should be on camera being interviewed about something, I can tell you they balk like crazy because they're embarrassed about something physical about themselves. I mean, I came on here, I was making a joke. I'm like, I got to pull in my stomach. I got my,
Right.
And
That's
I'm like,
why I wear black.
I know. And you know what the thing is? All of it is like, it's a mindset. I just decided I don't care about that because I'm more interested in talking to you than about that.
Yeah.
I feel like women, and men do this too. A lot of people, we get in our own way about things. We find a reason that we can't do something. And then we just decide that because I've thought it, it must be true, which is never really true. Like the glass ceiling idea, there are a lot of things that hold women back, but there's also the belief in oneself that you don't have to acknowledge that that's there anymore. You can push past it sometimes. Not in every situation, but there's a lot of women who don't feel confidence in themselves, and a lot of it is self-talk. And all of us are guilty of speaking to ourselves in negative ways. And I think that there is something to be said for catching it and being able to say, why am I doing that? I do feel that I think the biggest thing in business that women are seeking is excellent mentorship, and that is lacking on a daily basis constantly. Because even where I am, I have wonderful coworkers, but there isn't a mentor who's a woman, who's a few years ahead of me that I can look at and say, how is she doing that part of her business? That's a great way. I'm going to copy that with her blessing and learn how to do something a little bit better.
Right.
Because then, you could follow men and do the same thing. But what I'm saying is, if you're talking about it from the perspective of women in business and wanting to have a mentor, there are very few.